It is 6 p.m. Metro Fire Headquarters. We're going to call this meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge to the flag. Director Clark, if you would, please.
Liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. The open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14, replay on Sunday, October 28th at 8 p.m. and Monday, October 29th at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. Right now is a public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers?
Yes, we have Roger Mitchell.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mitchell. Welcome.
Board Chairperson, board members, Chief Harms, staff, members of Metro Fire. I stand tonight to thank this board for your support for our fundraising dinner. I'd like to thank Chief Harms, Chief Casantini, Director Sheets. She represented the board in great style. I would tell you that it was a huge success. The gentleman that we had to introduce our guest speaker, our world-class person, Chief Harms, did an excellent job in introducing our supervisor, Sue Frost. And I think that brought the idea of this goal we have a little closer with Chief Harms and Supervisor Frost. When Supervisor Frost, as she was concluding her statements, she said, and she reached over and she pulled me over a little closer to her. She said, "You know, I promised Roger that I was going to try to cobble a few dollars together to help with this project." And she was saying it like she was unsuccessful. I mean, it was like she was downtrodden. And she says, "So tonight," and then very quickly picked up her smile, and she says, "So tonight I'd like to give you a check for $10,000. So that was a complete shock. But we were, the dinner raised a considerable amount of money. We don't know exactly. I will get back to you. But I would tell you this, that Chief Casantini, Chief Harms, and Director Sheets helped us earn a little more money. And I will let one of those tell you in their comments how they were able to do that. But we thank you very much. We thank Chief Harms' wife. She, what we always have tried to do is with our speaker, always give them flowers. And last year, when Chief Harms was our guest speaker, why, we gave his wife flowers for allowing him to be our guest speaker. So this year, we also gave Mrs. Chief Harms some flowers for allowing them to come and be with us instead of being at home, because they just, the day before, got home from a long vacation. So, Chief, we thank you for that, and am certainly prepared to answer any questions the board might have.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the board? Thank you for the presentation. Appreciate it. And congratulations on the money that was raised. Yeah. Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any other additional speakers?
There are no other speakers.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to the consent items. Do we have any questions or comments?
Mr. Chair, I'd move the consent.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk.
Director Gale?
Yes.
Orzali?
Yes.
Jones?
Aye.
Sheets?
Aye.
Wood?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Barnes?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. I just want to make a side comment that part of that consent item is a resolution for commending Director Frederick Gale. I just want to say thank you for that, well-deserved, and representing and being part of us in this team. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Moving on to reports. President's report, I do not have anything at this point. And Fire Chief's report. Chief Harms.
President Barton, directors, good evening. This actually, last week, was my 2-year mark of being here with you all at Metro Fire. It has been a blink, and it has been very, very enjoyable. Today, this morning, and this afternoon, we had 2 sessions here, myself and Chief Bridge, and we talked about ownership. and talked about the organization and where we are today. But for me to be here, both sessions filled the place up in here, but just listening to the conversation with the membership and being here and seeing where we're at today, I'm just very happy where we're at, and I look forward to a long future as we move forward together. Today is a day of retirement. John Barsdale, who probably most of you have known, he's come a few times before the board and presented either as a local 522 director or as one of our lead investigators or supervising investigator, and this morning was his last day. They had a little party for him yesterday over at 106 and had an opportunity to go over there. So congratulations to John and for everything that he has done, and good luck on his next career as he moves forward. We had a new hire as a logistics tech named Brad Graham. We also opened up one of the recruitments for lateral firefighter paramedic. Last year, ourselves and 522 had worked on what could that look like as another opportunity for bringing folks into the district, and how would we work through that. We went through quite a long process, and we ended up with one individual, which has ended up very well. But I think we learned a lot about what we were doing and opportunities, because in the beginning we'd had 30 applications. And part of it was our side of just learning what we were doing and where we're at. Again, it's another opportunity to bring more members into Metro, and we'll see what happens with that as we move forward. As it was said 2 weeks ago, I missed the board meeting. Myself and my wife went back and we volunteered at the National Fallen Firefighter Memorial in Emmitsburg. It's a 3-day event on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All of the families of firefighter fatalities throughout the year, the National Fallen Firefighters fly them to Emmitsburg and spend the weekend there. My wife and I, and actually a few years ago, our kids went, and we try to go as much as we can and just volunteer to be there, one, to see the ceremony, but two, just to be able to give back. And so it was a great experience for us. On the day we got back, on October 13th, myself, Chief Casantini, and Director Sheets attended the Rio Linda restoration of Old Number 2, as Roger talked there. Chief Casantini and Director Sheets were locked up in jail for a little while out there. Luckily, I was able to raise bail money for them and help them out, but being a good citizen, I was not, with those two in there. But I do believe there is just great support, the community support that was out there, the team that is together that does the restoration of Old Number 2 was there. Myself and Director Frost have had a lot of conversations about the area and being able to support, and as Mr. Mitchell said, is that she had a $10,000 check, which was very nice, presented to him and his group at that time. We had a presentation to Engineer Dat Pham and Reserve Firefighter Dennis Berry. Received the Fire Safety Commendation Medals from the Sons of the American Revolution. That was last week, and it was for their accomplishments in fire safety and serving the community. I had the opportunity to go out and drive the dozer. I think I got an opportunity to do that once. I'm not sure they'll let me do that again, but it was fun, but I'm not real sure. The thing that I learned, you see it, but the how technical a large piece of machinery is, how important it is, and how easy the members that drive that machine every day make it look. But when you get in there and you're trying to do it yourself, it is pretty complicated and interesting. I've had a number of meetings and conversations with the new fire chief from the city. His name is Gary Loesch. He had spent about 32 years in the city of Philadelphia and retired as the number 2 person there. And as the operations chief, he's been here for about 2.5 weeks. We've met a number of times. We had a 2-alarm fire last night, and unfortunately one of his firefighters ended up kind of falling through the roof, catching himself. So again, we had a number of conversations last night, and I really look forward to working together and starting the relationship has been just great, on the right foot and moving forward and working together as we go. As I said, we're doing the professional development series right now. This one is ownership. Over the next 6 months, each month is a series which different folks within the district present on those. We have some stuff on mentorship that is going on. Lisa Barsdale has taken the lead on an overview of the district above and beyond the operation side and how things connect. And then the last sections are really tactical and really focused for some promotions that we'll have in the spring for battalion chief and captain. A couple other things just going on is, as you've seen, the cancer awareness engine has been out. The I'll Be Aware Pink Party was down in Elk Grove. They were downtown last night at the Golden One. The engine rotates around to a number of stations. And the way we have it set up is that they have their engine that is there, but they also have this engine that's fully outfitted. The crews are great for attending events. If it's going to be an extended period of time, we don't want to leave a station empty, so what we'll do is move someone over there to take it as an individual, and they'll get back on their regular engine. But the support from the membership has been absolutely great on that, and next month will be Movember. A couple other things is just we're involved in a number of stations, in this next week or so, which will be harvest festivals and trunk and treats. The CERT program has been doing some courses over at Station 21. We have some of our members that are going to be involved in a chili cook-off for the Kings that is coming up. And one last thing is that our fleet manager, Shay Purcell, has been selected by Pyrrhus to sit on an advisory committee. And they've picked just a handful of people across the United States to come and be there. They completely cover the expenses, but to be able to sit down and say, where's the fire service? What is the needs? As you know, either our truck companies, our engines, the hazmat that you saw, or the hazmat that we ordered, the rescue that you saw, is a Pyrrhus. And his reputation and attention to detail they've asked him to kind of represent that. And it's great to have someone from here we'll get as much out of it here as what they will get out of him on that end. Other than that, just thank everybody that helped with the air show, and looking forward to the holidays. That ends my report, unless you have some questions.
No, thank you very much. I just want to know if anybody got any video of you driving that dozer. And if so,
They
we
did
would like to
not.
see
I got a
it in the
picture of it, but I didn't, no video.
Great. Thank you for that report, Chief. Moving on to the operations report, Chief Bridge.
Good evening, President Barnes, directors, Eric Bridge, Operations Chief. Our EMS, our EMS division continues to remain busy as always. Since the last meeting, we've had total calls, about over 3,500 calls, of which 2,500 of those have been our EMS calls for service, and transport rate is maintaining around 73%. So business is maintaining on the EMS side, and Chief Law and her staff have done a tremendous job over the last several weeks. It's been more mandated training requirements for EMS for our paramedics too, which is good because it raises that level of care that we're providing to all of our citizens, so it's good, but creates some challenges with staffing as we plan out our training calendars from our training division and our EMS folks. And so I just wanted to acknowledge Chief Law and the work that her staff is doing to coordinate that training. It's a tremendous workload, and we're having to put that out a year in advance as our members continue to do good things in the training world. So in addition to that, as Chief mentioned, last night there was a 2-alarm fire over there at the business over at Howe and Alta Arden Expressway. And we're fortunate to have early command and control of that incident. I know Chief Wagaman happened to be in the area as well with family members when that thing broke out. It was a heavy fire showing, and it was one of those fires that we typically, as we respond to structure fires, the majority of the structure fires, as you're aware, that we respond to are residential, and so they're much smaller in nature. As you go into the commercial type fires, it increases the complexity level of the incident tenfold. So there's instantaneously we're paying close attention, and fortunately for that incident, the way it ended up at the end, with the fire captain from Sacramento Fire Department. We're just fortunate that he ended up being okay, relatively speaking. I know he suffered some minor injury, but the good news is we had a lot of our members there that did a great job knocking the fire down pretty quick, and we continue to work really well with the Sacramento Fire Department. We have a good relationship there. We also provided a lot of support for them. About 10 days ago, they had a large fire on North C Street early in the morning, about a 4-alarm fire. It was partially vacant building. And again, we provided a lot of support for them there, in addition to fire that started on a loading dock at the Coles off of Arden last week as well. So we're excited with the new chief there and the opportunities that it may present itself, so we can continue to foster that good relationship. And in addition to that, I wanted to pass on one last thing. I had the privilege to get back to Nashville to the Firehouse Expo with Chief House and Chief Wagaman. We were able to meet with our SCBA representatives out there and see what the latest technology is that's being offered, and it was a very valuable trip in the fact that I can assure you we'll be right on the leading edge of keeping our firefighters safe with the new technologies that are being offered, and I look forward to sharing more of that information with you later on as it begins to unfold. So good times ahead for us in that front, and unless you have any questions, that's all I have for you.
Thank you, Chief Bridge. Any comments or questions? Okay, thank you. Moving on to Fire Local 522, Vice President Jamison.
Good evening, directors, President Barnes, Chief Harms, and staff. I too want to echo today's event. There was the professional development entitled Ownership. I took the opportunity as well to reach out to the membership and encourage them to come. And I have to commend the fire chief and Chief Bridge as well for being open to that and having the forum where we can come in and talk openly and feel like people can express themselves and be heard, and there's not really a wrong answer. So I think it was kind of a new. I think it's been developing, right? Chief's been here 2 years now, and there's a trust factor, and it's building, and I appreciate that, and I know our membership appreciates that, so I want to commend him and Chief Bridge for doing that for us today. Locally, I know a lot of us, we've talked about this, about what are we doing locally, how are we helping the community recruitment, and I know Director Jones, we talked about this, but we are sponsoring, there's the Girls Fire Camp coming up in November. 522 is going to be a big sponsor of that. We voted on the last e-board, so I just wanted to make you aware of that. I also wanted to, I know I mentioned it the last time too, but I think I need to do it one more time. And John Barsdale, he's a long 6-year director for Metro Fire in 522. Great employee, great advocate for the investigation community in the area, also great advocate for labor. And I will miss his guidance and just kind of that guy behind me to giving me the support that I need as a new vice president. So I do want to say thank you to him one more time. And finally, these short meetings, I'm sure you guys are loving them, but I know you got a long, probably closed session tonight. So I just wanted to reiterate that we're all working to make Metro Fire the premier fire agency. Director Barnes, you talk about it a lot. Great, the organization and the people in it. And one of the things we talk about is, moving forward and how do we make this place better. Over and over, you see our people day in, day out, answering calls for service of all types. You see our helicopter going out of county. You see our rescue winning awards. You see just an amazing group of people, whether or not be on the line, the people behind us, in the office, in logistics, in the inspectors, everywhere up and down. We have the best people. And I think that when you make decisions about our contracts and things like that, I think that the people you represent get an amazing value for the people at Metro Fire. And so I know there's hard decisions, and I know there's a lot that has to be done, and things have to be worked on, but I think when you make the decisions and we work on these things and we work together, that the public gets a lot for the money. They really do. So thank you. Unless you have any questions, that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions? I just want to thank you. We sat down, we had a cup of coffee, and he educated me on a lot of things. So thanks for taking the time out, and the representation of the membership and what you see, as you can see standing there, is the passion that you have for them. So thank you for being here and representing them as well.
Thank you.
Moving on to committee and delegate reports. Executive committee, we do not have a report out at this time. Communications Center, JP, I don't see Assistant Chief Johnson. Chief Shannon?
He's not here.
All right, so we will move on. Report out will be. Are you going to report out, or you want to move on?
I'll report out for the California Fire Rescue Training Authority, JPA.
Okay, the report out, it looks like there might have been a meeting, not sure, but the next meeting is Tuesday, November 27th at 9 a.m. Chief Shannon for California Fire Rescue JPA.
Training JPA. We have not met for some time. We will meet January 17th, 4 o'clock, across the hall in the Sask.
Okay, thank you very much for the extensive report. Appreciate it. Moving on to the Finance and Audit Committee, the notation here is for Director Wood, I believe, to report out on this.
Yeah, thank you. We had a great presentation from Amanda, and I want to thank her and her staff for all the hard work getting that done for us. It was a 2-month look at where we are as of August 31st, 2018, and our medic cost recovery, the general operating fund income, the general operating fund expenses, and reserves are all on budget for those 2 months. There is a reminder, though, that we do have, as far as our cash balance goes, we will be making a $25 million payment on pension obligation bonds. We're going to redeem bonds, not buns, bonds. We're going to redeem those in November, and so when we get back together after the first of the year, that'll be a blip in the report at that time.
Thank you very much. The Policy Committee had Director Gould. He's not here, but it looks like there is the next meeting is to be determined. No other items. We're going to be moving into going into closed session, but prior to, we'll be doing board members' questions and comments. To my far right, Director Gale, if you would, please.
It's been a good ride, and things I want to do for the next 3 years, as a matter of fact. Argentina, for some reason I missed it. Roma, there you go. I got to do that one. London and Paris for the next 3 years. Got to do that. Other than that, the journey has been exciting, profitable for me, and I hope I've made some contribution. And the best of everything for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and we'll wish you safe travels.
Thank you.
Reach all your destinations. Director Orzali.
Yeah, very briefly, I wanted to take a moment to express my appreciation to Captain Fong, who heads up the academy that we have for Metro Fire. Had the opportunity to meet with them, look what they're doing, it was an inspirational experience for me, and I look forward to visiting the academy again in the future. I also want to thank Citrus Heights Mayor Steve Miller for his time sitting down with myself and representatives of local charter schools about creating career academies in public service. And so with that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Orzali. Director Clark.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to thank the chief for those text messages that he sends us on occurrences, what's going on. It's much appreciated. I also like to wish John Barsdale a happy retirement. It was exciting, very good working with him in the past. Also, I want to thank Chief Griggs for his help at his hospitality at the air show. It made it a very nice event for me, and that's much appreciated. Let's see. Also, I want to congratulate Mr. Mitchell on the success of his fundraiser. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Clark. Director Wood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also want to congratulate Roger on the work you're doing. It's excellent. I've been a while since I've been out there to see it, but it's always wonderful when I do get out and look at all the work you've done. So congratulations. I want to wish the city firefighter that was injured in that Alta Arden firefight last night, a speedy and complete recovery. Trevor, I want to say thank you for all the help you've given me and the Burn Institute getting volunteers to events recently. Bug you a lot, but I appreciate all the work and all the members that do come out and support that organization. And lastly, it just caught me off guard with John's retirement. John's a great guy, great asset to our organization. The very first time I met him was at least 5-6 years ago. The first time I sat down with Ty Bailey, we met at an IHOP up in Folsom, and Ty comes in, and Ty's who he is, and John comes in standing behind him looking like he's got his tack pants on with a weapon on his side, taser on his side. He's looks like Schwarzenegger back in the day. And sits down next to Ty. I'm thinking, what does Ty need this bodyguard for? But he was just a wonderful guy to talk to and work with, and he's been that way the entire time I've been around, and he will be missed. So congratulations, John. Best to you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very good. Thank you, Director Sheets.
Also want to congratulate Mr. Barsdale on his retirement and best wishes. Thank you, Roger Mitchell, for the invite to that fundraiser. I'm not sure why I was the only one in handcuffs being led to the jail, and I do believe that there is a picture with you in the jail. Also want to send prayers and a speedy recovery to that Sac City firefighter. And regarding the first issue on the closed session, I'm going to recuse myself.
Thank you very much. Director Jones.
Thank you. Congratulations to Shay Purcell for being selected to represent Metro on a national level. It's another kudo for him personally, as well as for us as an organization. Congratulations to John Barsdale. I know he'll be more busy tomorrow than you were today, so best of luck and keep up the good work. Thank you to Trevor Johnson and 522 for support for Girls Camp. It's one aspect, one way to help further recruitment of women in the fire service. So I very much appreciate 522's support for that. And just a quick check. Don't answer it. You'll be in jeopardy. I think, don't you have to have a Class A for a dozer, Chief?
Plausible deniability, boss.
Yeah, picture. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Just to echo all the sentiments, Director Gale, thank you again for everything that you've done and the contributions you made here. It was neat. I actually had the ability to attend the awards for the Sons of American Revolution on my other capacity and provide some awards. And I was approached by Metro Fire, and it was kind of a side joke that we talked about of the stuff that we were being awarded for is stuff that Metro Fire personnel does day to day. But I will tell you that's an absolute true statement. And although it might have been a jab in jest, but it was absolutely true statement. It's the bravery that happens by the personnel each and every day. So it was great to see Metro Fire there. It is our board clerk's last meeting, Miss Melissa, and we wish you well. And we are so excited for you and the hopefully newest member of Metro Fire to come, and wish you well through that process. So thank you for all you've done for us. You've been amazing, and you keeping this group intact is tough. So, and lastly for me, John Barsdale. Everything's been said. Same thing. He's been a great friend of mine. I've always said he worked for the wrong agency before I actually learned more about Metro Fire because we work side by side a lot of times. But his passion, not only for the job, but the passion for the membership that he represented. And when you talked to him, you saw the fire in his eyes about it. And you knew it was genuine. And it wasn't because he was part of the E-board and he had to say certain things. So there's a deficit there when he leaves, no doubt. He is a true expert and iconic figure in that industry. So I wish him well. We're going to miss him. And with that, we are going to move into closed session. So hopefully, no offense, we don't see anybody here for the rest of the evening.